And there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun, and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. And she, being with child, cried, travailing in birth, and pained to be delivered. And there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and 7 crowns upon his heads. And his tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven, and did cast them to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman which was ready to be delivered, for to devour her child as soon as it was born. And she brought forth a man-child, who was to rule all nations with the rod of iron. And her child was caught up unto God and to his throne.
Hey guys. Whoa, that's probably a little loud there. Hopefully the volume should be good, I hope. Yeah, I just saw Cindy's comment. I hope the launch is still happening. They canceled it yesterday. Yeah, hopefully it's still happening. They already pushed it back. Let me just do a screen share so I can show you what I mean. Okay, let's see. 115 minutes. So they got it set to 9 o'clock now, which they just did that like maybe an hour ago. Let's see. Okay, good. The way that I have to do this, I have 2 computers sitting here, and one of them I'm gonna be able to like see the chat and whatever on, and then we'll just use the full screen of my other one when the launch starts, so you guys can see the full screen. But hey, Michael Spencer, Thomas Morgan, and Buy My Records. Cool. Cindy Heeman. How are you guys doing this morning? So there's a few things that I was gonna... There's actually, since we have like a lot of time, it's 114 minutes till launch is supposed to start broadcasting, and then it probably a half hour till the launch after that, but I'm just gonna stay live the whole time. I got a bunch of videos to play. Let me go to video and pause it. Did you guys like that little I just made that? I can show you the video that I'm making. I think desktop. Okay, you guys should be seeing like a movie maker thing. Let's see here. Yeah, cool. I'm almost done making it. I'll show you guys the end of it. Here's the end of it.
These great beasts which are four.
Sorry.
4 kings which shall arise out of the earth. Shall arise out of the earth. Shall arise out of the earth. Shall arise out of the earth.
So I was just about excuse me. I was just about to hit save movie, and I'll name it Shall Arise Out of the Earth. That's why I was a little late on here, because I was trying to finish this video. Quick one. So we'll let that do that in the background. And sorry, I just figured I'd show you. I wanted to finish that because I want to tag a couple people on Facebook and ask them why they're ignoring the Book of Revelation, but they don't seem like they are. Like, they just don't understand to look up. I mean, honestly, if you look at September 23rd, I mean, I've went over this 1,000 times, but September 23rd was, hey, Don Pratt, how are you doing? Good to see you. The woman clothed with the sun. We saw that up in the sky, and then John said, and behold, and another wonder in heaven, and behold. So it's the same place that he saw the first wonder in heaven of the woman, and he sees the red dragon, and they won't look up there, which is crazy, because I'm going to play you some footage. Let's see here. Okay, let's watch some SpaceX plumes really quick. Oops, that's the wrong one. There we go. Uh-oh. No, don't tell me it's gonna lock up. I think my program just locked up, you guys. It did. Okay, hold on. I think I know how to fix this. I'm not sure what we're gonna get. Let's see. I have to pick a whole different... See, this is what it does to me all the time. Basically, I have to start over. Start everything over. Let's see here. Which one should I do? I don't even know which one to do. Okay, let me cancel it and let me see if it's gonna work. Let me go to picture. Oops. Okay, it looks like something just locked up, like the video did. I don't know why. So let me try desktop. Okay, good. Desktop works. That's the one we need for the launch anyway. But let's see here. I hope I don't hit wrong buttons. Okay. Let's open up a YouTube page. We're just gonna watch a video on YouTube about fire or flames in space. Hey, Anthony Dickinson and Dave Marsh, good to see you guys. So, sorry this is so, like, informal, or whatever you want to call it. All my videos are. Looks like, there's already people live for this SpaceX launch. Here's my subscriptions. Let's type in combustion, or what was it, confined combustion? Whoop. NASA doesn't know anything about this, what they're doing. Research overview. Okay, yeah, let's watch this video. This is let's see. Yeah. Okay, let's see. Hopefully you guys can see that.
The mission of the NSF is to advance the frontiers of science and engineering and help educate people in the areas of STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. NSF is really excited to have this partnership with the International Space Station. It's a unique environment. We believe that having research done in space, where there are not the same effects of gravity as you have here on Earth, allows us to make new discoveries. When you have flames propagating on Earth, one of the key pieces of that phenomenon is the buoyancy effect. As air heats up, it rises because it's lighter. So in the experiment that's going to fly in the upcoming mission, the flames will spread in a confined environment in the space station, but not have that same buoyancy effect. So we'll be able to take measurements and try to tease out some of the more fundamental aspects of flame propagation.
I just gotta tell you, like, what Thomas Morgan just said. I gotta get my computer so I can see it better. Let's see it. Sorry. What Thomas Morgan just said, he said, been thinking about the gases they say up there, and with their rockets, wonder if they could burn the sky up or the dome. And you're right on, Thomas. You're right on, because that's like, all these things that I've been, understanding that are new to me. They're new to me. These things that I've been learning the last few years. I'm like a baby learning them, and I'm just going on YouTube and Facebook and saying what I learn, It's quite simple. But the things that I'm learning are devastating things, and they're so unrealistic things. Like, I guess what I'm saying is they've never happened before. The sky rolling back like a scroll, that's never happened before. And so we all have this kind of security in the back of our minds that's really not like, it's just natural to think that tomorrow's going to come just like every day does. but that's the scary thing about it. It's easy for me to even like get calloused to the times we're in, and I think part of that is because everyone, just about everyone, there's a lot of people that I appreciate all you guys that well, I appreciate it, everyone that will even listen, but I'm just saying I do appreciate those of you who can say, okay, you know, to try to understand these stories that these prophets told, John and Daniel, they told us, they gave us their testimony that they saw these beasts and they saw them flying up to the firmament and casting the stars down. And this is like, it's hard to even realize that we're this far in and people are still in denial of these things because they've been revealed for a few years now. Which actually, one of the videos that I'm going to play anytime here, whenever we get around to it, I guess it's a half hour long, but it is a video that I made in 2017. Uh-oh, what did I do? I just bumped something. Let me look at this lady. She's got her eyes closed. I'm just making sure that I didn't. Okay, good. See, oh, that was the video done already. You guys want to watch it? Let's see here. Let's listen to the rest of this. I'm sorry, but we're gonna watch a half-hour video of me talking about these beasts in 2017, basically going over each one, and it's the same thing that I knew in 2017 that all this stuff was going to be flying because it's in the Bible. Like the launch we're going to watch today, I knew that would be flying because it's in the Bible. And I'm not saying everybody sees it, but if there's a lot of you who do, I know that. So let's listen to the rest of this video.
That we would not be able to do here on Earth. And if we do that, we might be able to develop better building codes or rules for designing structures that could be safer in the case of a fire by having a better understanding of how fire spreads. People are excited by space. And if we think about space not just as, wow, isn't that cool to look back and see the Earth, but what are the fundamental scientific questions we can ask when we're there? And how can we use that understanding to make things better here on Earth? I think that's exciting for the future generation. The fact that we have this national laboratory, the International Space Station, really is a national treasure for our researchers.
Blah, blah, blah.
Confined environment.
Yeah. So yeah, see these flames? How they work in space? They're in zero gravity, so that you wouldn't have to be in space. Flames would do the same thing on a vomit comet. They would. Because it's actually like she was saying, the gases, there's lighter, I mean, yeah, there's the temperature, there's lighter and like less dense and more dense gases, and because of the temperature. So like that's why smoke goes up, you know. Let's see here. Let's see. There's a crazy article that I was reading from an astronaut. I'll see if I can find it again. I think I'll just type in fire. Oh, there we go. Fire on, well, it was on Mir, I guess. Yeah, right here. This. Okay, we're going to go here to this. This is kind of crazy. The first time that they ever really experienced an uncontrolled fire up there. We're talking a small fire. So this is the, I guess we have to scroll down. Thomas says she's stoned. Okay, fire. How the Mir hey, Cupcake. Just gonna unplug my internet cord. She's all feisty this morning. Sorry, guys. Okay, fire. How the Mir incident changed space station safety. 16 years ago, a fire on the Russian space station Mir erupted after a cosmonaut routinely ignited a perchlorate canister that produced oxygen to supplement the space station's air supply. Jerry Lininger, an American astronaut aboard Mir at the time, wrote about the incident that occurred in 1997. As the fire spewed with angry intensity, sparks resembling an entire box of sparklers ignited simultaneously, extended a foot or so beyond the flame's furthest edge. Beyond the sparks, I saw what appeared to be melting wax splattering on the bulkhead opposite the blaze. But it was not melting wax, it was molten metal. The fire was so hot that it was melting metal. Lininger famously had some trouble donning gas masks, which kept malfunctioning, but he and the rest of the crew managed to put out the blaze before it spun out of control. The cause was traced to a fault in the canister. Mir itself was deorbited in 2001, but the fire safety lessons are still vivid in everyone's mind today. So, there's that. Yeah. Let's see here. I don't really care about this article. It was just interesting to read what the guy said. Okay, so let's see. Fire burns differently in space. So, what I'm getting at is why are they doing what they're doing today? It doesn't really make any sense. The only reason it makes sense is because they're basically doing it like an actual Dragon mission to the space station so that they can do practice of everything, like a real world practice of the launch escape system, which I don't know if you guys know what that is. I'll show you here. Let's do a little research on that. Whoops, sister, not system, not sister. We'll just read Wikipedia's, because like any rocket that has a astronaut riding in it probably has a safety system in case there's. They say the unlikely occurrence that there would be an anomaly with the booster. Yeah, right. Unlikely. So many of these things blow up. Let's see here. It's a crew safety system connected to the space capsule, used to quickly separate the capsule from its launch vehicle rocket in case of a launch abort emergency, such as an impending explosion. So there's. Let me go to Spacex really quick. Oops. Because let's see what SpaceX is saying on Twitter really quick. I forgot about Twitter. Hey, Clouds Behind the Sun, what's up? JPD White, what's up? How you guys doing? Hope you're doing well. Boosters coming back on Earth to be reused again. Whoa. You guys watch that while I read Revelation 13, verse 13. And he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men, and deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast. Do you guys think that rings a bell for anyone? For me, it rings a bell. Randy Cochran, good to see you. Michael Spencer, you guys are all that's awesome that you guys are here. I thought there'd be like nobody watching because it's like earlier in the morning. But you see this fire coming down, falling out of the sky here? John saw fire coming down from heaven that men could see. What I'm saying is this is a fulfillment of Revelation 13:13. And we'll watch that video I just made in the background. We'll watch that in a second. So actually, I got to load that into my program. Which, let's see, I'm doing a screen share, so you're gonna see you're gonna see my program, I think. Video. Oh, it's locked up. Yeah, I forgot. Shoot, I don't want to leave it on video. Okay, so I'm taking a chance, you guys. I don't think it'll, like, if I disappear for a minute or whatever, which I don't think I will, but I gotta shut the program down, or just, like, not all the way down, but I gotta minimize it and then try it again, and it should work. So, wish me luck. Hopefully I'm still here with you. And hopefully the program... See, watch, it'll probably start with all different settings again. Oh no. Let's see. Video? No video. No video. That is not cool. So let me see. Let me go to OBS. Okay, I'm just making sure that I'm still there. It might just be a frozen screen for a minute. I have to totally shut the program down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to save the preset as Abort. Okay, that was saved. So we should be able to get like our videos back in there and stuff. Alright, here goes. Hopefully I don't disappear. And I don't know. It might show... It might just pop on my computer's camera. I don't know what it's going to do. It looks like just frozen screen or something. Hold on a minute. I'm firing it back up and hopefully it works this time. It's not working. I have to do something. Let's see here. How about this? How about if I play... Oops. How about if I go here and play this?
And the woman fled into the wilderness, where she hath a place prepared of God,
I'll
they
get
should
this
feed
fixed,
her there
guys.
1,260 days. And there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels, and prevailed not. Neither was their place found any more in heaven. And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. And I heard a loud voice saying in heaven,
Now is come salvation, and strength, and the kingdom of our God, and the power of his Christ. For the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accused them before our God day and night. And they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb, and by the word of their testimony. And they loved not their lives unto the death. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them.
Okay, I'm having a problem. Sorry, guys. Let's see. It's like locked up, and I don't know what I can do. I might have an idea, but sorry about this. I'm not trying to, So I took all the videos out of there. And I put this one in, and it didn't work. I don't know if you guys can see any of this or not, but let me try this. Let me just try this. Wow. So this is the first time it's done this. And actually, let me try to... Let's see. Let me try to load a preset again. Let me try... Oh wait, where was that one? Okay. Where was that? Let's try it. No, I don't want to do that one. Globes. We'll try globes. I don't know if this will do anything or work or anything. Can you guys see that? Yeah! You guys see 5 of me? Come on, show up on the screen. Because that means it's working. Yes! Yes! Okay, cool. That's awesome. Do you guys... This was a setup from a video I made a long time ago. Where I was actually... I had 5 cameras. Which I have right now. Hi. And I can move these around wherever I want. Oh no, it just locked up again. Not even kidding. Okay, I'm doing something drastic. But I gotta do it. can't really show you guys anything. I could read my Bible. There's something I want to read. I want to read Isaiah 14, and there's some crazy stuff in there that I kind of didn't really notice before. So it might just be locked on that screen for a minute, because I'm shutting that thing down. It's already shut down. Let's see. Oh no, let's see. It is shut down. Okay. So maybe it'll work now. Come on, please work. Let's see, I should probably try to close some other, like I don't need some of these programs running. Ooh, I almost closed OBS. Don't do that, Joe. Whoops. Close it. Hey, you guys see Spacex? Yes. Okay, good. Sorry about that. And I still don't know if it's going to actually work, but so we're starting from scratch. Sorry, guys. As soon as what I'll do is I do have a video that I want to play, or actually a few videos. I'm going to close this. Let's see. Windows Media Player. I'm not using that, am I? End it. I'm just clearing out my notepad. End it. Movie Maker. End it. Okay, now the only programs I have running are Google Chrome, OBS, and my Sparkle Cam or whatever. So cross your fingers. Let's see. Okay, I'm gonna try to add a video into, oh no. Oh, good. Okay. Shall arise out of the earth. That's what I named it, right? Yeah. The video I just made. I hope this plays. Oh, it's not gonna play. Let me see here. Okay, that one plays. This one doesn't play. Let me try another one, because I just made that one, so I know, you know, it could be screwed up. Let's see here. One that I know that works is this one. I was just watching this one. Wow. Oh wait. Okay, that's, I guess not. Let's see here. I'm sorry, guys. This isn't, I might just leave it on this screen. Or wait, we can still do desktop, right? Yeah, okay. We're just gonna have to do desktop. And, yeah. Okay, launch update. This was yesterday, of course. So, I don't know why I'm or wait, what was that? Did they just do it? Did they just tweet something? 10 a.m. Decreasing winds in the recovery area. Okay, so it's 10 a.m. But I'll still play a bunch of videos. Why not, right? Let's see. I might have to totally, I don't know what I have to do, because it's never, like, repeatedly done that. Which is kind of weird. Like I have a setting wrong or something. Okay, we got rid of all the I had Revelation in there. It gets rid of everything. It's no good. Video. Okay, so it'll play that video, but it won't play these other videos, and they're the same format. That's weird. I'm trying a little bit more. Otherwise, I'm just gonna start reading to you guys in a minute. I'm sorry. Hey, it's playing that. That's a good sign. Okay, that's a good sign. That means I can look for more videos and hopefully one of them will play. But this one here, this is a video I made in 2017. If it'll play, it's not gonna play. It just locked up again. Oh no, it didn't. So why doesn't it? Oh wait, I gotta turn that off maybe. That'd be funny if it was just because I had the green screen on. It was. Okay, guys, I'm sorry. We're back to normal. That was me. Nothing wrong with the program. I had the green screen effect on, and sometimes it does that. So, let's see. Let's watch. I gotta load. Or wait, did I already have it in there? I think I did. Let's watch the video that I just made. Okay, that was a waste of about 15 minutes. Sorry, guys.
There appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun, and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. And she, being with child, cried, travailing in birth, and pained to be delivered. And there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and 7 crowns upon his heads. And his tail drew the 3rd part of the stars of heaven, and did cast them to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman which was ready to be delivered, for to devour her child as soon as it was born.
I considered the horns, and behold, there came up among them another little horn, before whom there were 3 of the first horns plucked up by the roots. And behold, in this horn were eyes like the eyes of man, and a mouth speaking great things. I considered the horns, and behold, there came up among them another little horn, before whom there were 3 of the first horns plucked up by the roots. And behold, in this horn were eyes like the eyes of man, and a mouth speaking great things. These great beasts which are 4 kings which shall arise out of the earth, shall arise out of the earth, shall arise out of the earth, shall arise out of the earth.
Okay, that was the video. It was short. But it gave me time. Check this out. Here's some slow motion footage of a Falcon 9 launching. It's kind of cool. If you can call that cool, I guess. There's a lot of fire coming out of that thing. I'm just letting it play a couple times. It's skipping again? Uh-oh. Let's see here. Let me check. Okay, I just paused it, so I can't tell the sound. You guys can hear me fine, I'm hoping. Let's see. I'm going to also... Okay, so... Okay, good. Thank you, By My Records. I'm going to play this video that I made 3 years ago, or close to 3 years ago or something. It was about the beasts. So there's another video that I might play, but I'd have to go to my YouTube channel to play it, I think. But I'm going to play this. It's about a half hour long, and it's interesting. Thomas Morgan knows every detail of the same things that I've learned. So, I know that it's not something that other people can't see. It makes very much sense, and it is very clearly describing certain parts of these space programs, certain rockets and certain Dragon capsules and stuff. So here I even have pictures to kind of compare, and then I'm going through the Bible. So this is a couple years old, or a few years old, 2017. So here we go. Okay, we're gonna try this again. I just got started on this, and in the background here there is a couch right there, and Mr. Kitty, Mr. Cupcake over there, going by the door, started to puke. And he was on top of the couch, and he puked on the floor, so it bounced all over. It was a mess. I got it cleaned up. Alright, I wanted to make this video because I want to use my voice, I guess, to talk about the beasts in two visions given to two witnesses in the Bible that both witnessed the stars being cast to the ground. And I think that there's a lot to that we need to know, that we want to know. So first I'm going to read Isaiah 14, 12 through 14. This is what Satan has in his heart to do. And we need to know our enemy. We need to know his plans, his desires, and everything that the Bible says about him and what he's going to do, what he wants to do, in order to defend ourselves against the deceiver. That's what he does. He deceives. So let's read this. Chapter 14 of Isaiah, verses 12 through 14. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. I'm just going to repeat a couple little parts that stand out to me. For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. And then verse 14, I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. So words have meanings, and these are not tough words. So when Satan tells you that, or when the Bible tells you that Satan has it in his heart to ascend into the clouds, or above the heights of the clouds, ascend into heaven, that means something. So I'm kind of tired of people pretending that there isn't this story going on between good and evil, this fight, and we know the source of it. It's Satan. He's the source of all deception. Anyway, so we know what Satan plans to do. He plans to go up there. So and that's not me saying that. That's the Isaiah 14 saying that. I will ascend into heaven. Okay, that means I will ascend into heaven, which we'll be talking about with these beasts, because these beasts do the same thing. Okay, we're going to start by reading the beasts in Daniel 7. Daniel had a vision of his own, and I'm just going to read about 7-8 verses, and then we'll break down these four beasts and we'll check them out. And again, we'll look at what words mean. They have meanings, and we'll go over it. It might take a minute, but it'll be worth it. Okay, chapter 7 of Daniel. In the first year of Belshazzar, king of Babylon, Daniel had a dream and visions of his head upon his bed. Then he wrote the dream and told the sum of the matters. Daniel spake and said, I saw in my vision by night, and behold, the four winds of the heaven strove upon the great sea, and four beasts came up from the sea, diverse from one another. The first was like a lion, and had eagle's wings. I beheld till the wings thereof were plucked, and it was lifted up from the earth, and made stand upon the feet as a man, and a man's heart was given to it. And behold, another beast, a second, like to a bear, and it raised itself up on one side, and it had 3 ribs in the mouth of it between the teeth of it. And they said thus unto it, Arise, devour much flesh. After this I beheld, and lo, another like a leopard, which had upon the back of it 4 wings of a fowl. The beast had also 4 heads, and dominion was given to it. After this I saw in the night visions, and behold, a 4th beast, dreadful and terrible, and strong exceedingly, and it had great iron teeth. It devoured and brake in pieces, and stamped the residue with the feet of it. And it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it. And it had 10 horns. Okay, 10 horns, remember that. Okay, There's 4 beasts, and I'm just going to show you what the Holy Spirit showed me, and I care not what your thoughts are on what I've learned. I guess when the Holy Spirit shows you something in the Word, you know it, and it's not questionable. It's not up for debate within your own mind. I mean, I this is so obvious to me, what's going on, and people laugh at me or laugh at the idea, and I feel bad that they can't read these words. But okay, I'm going to read Daniel 7 verse 4. The first was like a lion and had eagle's wings. I beheld till the wings thereof were plucked, and it was lifted up from the earth and made stand upon the feet as a man, and a man's heart was given to it. Okay, he beheld till the wings thereof were plucked. That's very important to remember. And a man's heart was given to it. I think we're talking about an astronaut, or yeah. It's all a deception, first of all. Daniel 7 tells us that it's dominion taken by transgression. So yeah, okay, so that, I don't know why it says like a lion. Maybe because maybe the front of it looks like a lion, or maybe it's because NASA is the spokes agency for all of space. They're the biggest putter-outer of media and whatnot. So yeah, there we go. That's what I think that beast is. And it's not just because of this one verse that I see that as the beast. We're going to get into Revelation, which also points at that. Okay, I'm going to read the next verse. And behold, another beast, a second, like to a bear, and it had raised itself up, or on one side, and it had 3 ribs. Hold on a minute. It had 3 ribs in the mouth of it, between the teeth of it, and they said thus unto it, Arise, devour much flesh. Okay, so this is the Russian Soyuz rocket, and this is being lifted up on one side, and this is the Soyuz capsule with the 3 ribs inside between the teeth of it. That's the only way that an astronaut can get to fake space for the world stage. That's the only way that we have crew transportation to and from the International Space Station. And you'll understand why that's important to know that in a moment. So we know that like to a bear, I guess, I don't know, Russia maybe is a bear, but whatever. Let's see here. Okay, arise, devour much flesh. So this is obvious to me, okay? It raised itself up on one side and said unto it, Arise, devour much flesh. Okay, we'll go to the next verse. All right, this is where it starts getting a little more interesting, because we can, once again, Daniel and John saw the same thing. They described the same things, and they all described different features of each one that kind of verify, to me anyway, that that's what we're talking about. Menards. Yeah. Okay. After this I beheld, and lo, another like a leopard, which had upon the back of it 4 wings of a fowl, and the beast also had 4 heads, and dominion was given to it. Dominion of the host of heaven. Okay, that's in Daniel 7. Where does it say that? Let's see. I'm not gonna divert from my plan here. Okay, so the leopard, I don't know if you've seen the color of these. Sorry for these terrible, I just printed these out on my printer real quick. These are they actually kind of look the same color as a leopard, and they have kind of, I myself would say, and I'm guessing John and Daniel would also say that it looks like a leopard. but has 4 wings. Where are we? Upon the back of it, 4 wings of a fowl. And the beast had 4 heads. Well, there's the Russian Soyuz, the Russian Progress, Orbital ATK Cygnus, and Spacex Dragon. Okay, those are the 4 capsules that have ever... Okay, you had the shuttle, which supposedly brought all this stuff up there to build it. And then after the shuttle was retired, the wings were clipped, remember? I beheld the wings, till the wings were clipped, or plucked thereof, sorry. 4 heads. There's been 4 things attached to this fakery right here on your TV on the world stage. Okay, so the beast also had, and dominion was given to it. Dominion of the host of heaven. Okay, it's not that it's up there, but it is dominion of the host, which means we believe it. It's believable. I don't really know how to... I'm not going to say that the host of heaven is in your mind or in your forehead or what you believe, because I don't know that. I don't... But that comes to mind that the temple of God is in our forehead. Okay, because we read in Revelation about the 144,000 that had the Father's name written in their forehead. They overcame the beast and his image. They had victory over the beast. So let's just be done with Daniel for right now. Maybe I'll come back to some of those things, but let's go to... Okay, we're just going to kind of skip back as we go. Well, first of all, I'm adding something to my video here, and that is just a couple quick things out of Zechariah. Just 2 things, or one thing maybe. Zechariah 5. Then I turned and lifted up mine eyes, like that, like that. You look up. That means lifting eyes, whatever. Okay. And looked, and behold, a flying roll. And the angel said to me, and he said unto me, What seest thou? And I answered, I see a flying roll. The length thereof is 20 cubits, and the breadth thereof is 10 cubits. Then he said unto me, This is the curse that goeth over the face of the whole earth. Okay, that's important. The curse. We were just told in Zechariah that a flying roll, something like this maybe, a flying roll is the curse that goeth forth over the face of the whole earth. These words have meaning, remember that. Okay, that's all I wanted to share out of Zechariah. So then let's go to Revelation and talk about Revelation 13. Well, I want to talk about a lot of things in Revelation, but that's probably for another video. Sorry, I will get there. Okay, when the Holy Spirit started showing me this stuff, he started me by the first thing he started me to see was verse 11 in chapter 13. So I'm just going to start there because and we'll go back to 13 verse 1 and 2. But the reason why is just because I feel that it's easier to understand it if we know who that second beast is before we know who the one that rises up from the sea is. So, okay, let's see. All right, 13 verse 11. I'm just going to read 11 through 14. And listen, please pay attention very closely to what these words are saying, because they're telling us something that I don't think I've seen a single person in the world acknowledge, except some of my good close friends Sven and Candace and Paprika and a lot of people that are very close to me, and I believe that they're open to the Holy Spirit teaching them. They haven't decided what these visions meant before they were unsealed. We're told in both these visions that they're sealed up. Parts of them were sealed up till the end, or till the time of the end. And everybody goes on like that means nothing. Well, it means something. And in 2017, there was a key given to us. Not really, but there was things fell into place to make the visions manifest, to make them be. So 13 verse 11. And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth. And he had 2 horns like a lamb and spake as a dragon. Okay. I don't know if you'll be able to see on here. See on the side of the rocket there? That's not I'll show you a better image here. Hold on. There is 2 horns. There's several types of 2 horns on this rocket. Okay. This is the logo on the side. This is the Falcon 9 lift rocket. It's a 2-stage rocket. So it's a 2-stage rocket, and it also has 2 horns on the side of it. And an interesting thing, let me just read you, I gotta do this. I gotta go back to Daniel. I forgot to show you something that I learned. And I put this stuff out on Facebook and YouTube and stuff, so I'm sure a lot of people are aware of this, but okay, you just look at this and remember that this is way up on the rocket when it's about to launch. It's, I don't know, probably something like 150 feet up in the air. So in Daniel 8, this is still Daniel's vision, but it's his second vision. It's like a continuation of the chapter 7 vision. 8 verse 3, it says, then I lifted up my eyes, and I do that so you notice what he's saying. These words have meaning, remember. Then I lifted up mine eyes and saw, and behold, there stood before the river a ram. Okay, now the Hebrew word for ram is, what is it? Ayil, I believe. And it's, I'm sure it can be an animal, I don't really know, but it's a tree or a post or something strong, or a column, or I think it said pilaster or something, but something strong like a tree. So just imagine if there's a rocket sitting there and you didn't know what a rocket was and all you knew about was animals. Let's just pretend that the ram is the tree or the post, okay? And I'm going to finish reading. Behold, there stood before the river a ram, which had 2 horns, and the 2 horns were high, but one was higher than the other, and the higher came up last. So I'll let you chew on that. Okay, back to this. And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth. Oops, sorry. Okay, that's dragon, the dragon capsule. That is what allegedly goes up to the ISS and docks with it temporarily to resupply it, to power it, to give it continuation possibility. And it's all a deception. Don't think that I'm saying anything about this stuff is real. Okay, they launch rockets, but I believe they're most likely just fireworks. Or I don't even know. They got some weird stuff going on. This could just be a helium balloon that's going up with some crap shooting out of the bottom. I don't know. If you've ever launched a model rocket, if you've ever launched any kind of rocket, they don't take off like that. They don't go sit in one position, moving real slow, and then a minute later are moving 2,500 miles an hour. It's just, to me, unbelievable. But, so notice this is the Falcon 9 rocket, and the bottom part here is the first stage, and this is a 2-stage rocket. This is the second stage, and here's the dragon. Okay, so it had 2 horns like a lamb and spake as a dragon. Okay, could be this, maybe not. I'm just saying that from verse 11. But when we go and read 12 through 14, it verifies that it is this rocket that John is talking about. So he sees this beast come out of the earth, in verse 12. And he exerciseth all the power of the first beast before him, and causeth the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. And you'll understand all that in a minute. I'm going to explain it. And he doeth great wonders, so that he make fire come... Sorry, I'm trying to make it look all cool. So that he maketh fire come down from heaven on earth in the sight of men, and deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast. Okay, so words have meanings. So what we just read, and I'll paraphrase it, what we just read is John saw with his eyes, saw. So we're not talking about a church. We're not talking about the Vatican. None of these things make fire come down from heaven. So, maybe like a bomb or a missile or something could be something that would be reasonable to consider. But we can just look at this and say, well, this is pretty close to what John is describing here. And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and spake as a dragon. And he exerciseth all the power of the first beast, and he doeth great wonders, so that he makes fire come down from heaven on earth in the sight of men, and deceives them on the earth by the means of those miracles. Okay? All right. That is that. Now, we're going to do... Oh, here's kind of a closer up view. I should have shown you this one earlier. That's Falcon 9 and Dragon capsule. Or, yeah, Dragon 1. Okay. And here is Dragon 1 being attached. It's actually like that, I believe. Oh, no, like that. That's at Spacex there. All right. So, this is going to get interesting now. Let's see here. Alrighty, so we're going to go and we're going to look at 13 verse, I'll just read verse 1 and 2. And I stood upon the sand of the sea, and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard. Remember Daniel said the same thing? It was like a leopard. It was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear. Remember Russia, the bear, the 3 ribs in the mouth of it, between the teeth of it? And they said unto it, arise. Feet of a bear. That's the only way. Russia's the only way to get to an astronaut to space right now. Except it's all fake. But so I would consider that to be the feet of a bear. If Russia was a bear, the idea of it. Anyway, I'm not saying I know any of this, but I'm discerning what the Spirit is showing me. So otherwise I wouldn't have printed this stuff up. Okay. Has the mouth of a lion. Daniel said that too. Or did he say it in mouth of a lion? Anyway. But yeah, Daniel said lion too. And the dragon gave him his power, his seat, and great authority. So this beast also has power and great authority. I'm going to just... I have to open back to Daniel so we can refer to a couple of these things. Okay, the mouth of a lion. The dragon gave him his power. So the dragon gives this beast that has the deadly head with the deadly wound. The dragon gives this beast its power and its seat and great authority. And in Daniel, the beast had 4 heads, and dominion was given to it. It was like a leopard, had 4 wings of a fowl. Okay, now, let's see here, sorry. Okay, this beast right here, this I believe is what Daniel saw first, I'll just read the verse, as dreadful and terrible strong exceedingly, and it had great iron teeth. It devoured and brake in pieces and stamped the residue with the feet of it, and it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it. And it had 10 horns. Okay, it had 10 horns. You know why it had 10 horns? Because this has had 10, well, it's had 11 now, but the Holy Spirit's been showing me this for almost a year now. This has 10 horns, or it has 11 now, but it had 10 horns. And what those are is commercial resupply missions to the International Space Station. So it goes up and it docks and it comes back down and delivers whatever BS they say. So there we go. Okay, but here's an interesting thing. I'm kind of getting away from what our revelation, but we'll get back there. Daniel 7 verse 8. Now listen very carefully. I considered the horns, and behold, there came up among them, hold on, I'm getting there. There came up among them another little horn, before whom the three of the first horns plucked up by the roots. So he told us that he was standing by the river, and he lifted his eyes and he saw something that looked possibly like this. And then as he was considering, he saw 3 of these plucked up by the roots. There we are. There's 3 of them right there. And they also have this is called Falcon Heavy instead of Falcon 9. This is 3 rams, or 3 Falcon 9 stages. And they're called Falcon 9 because they have 9 Merlin engines on them, which I know nothing about. But the Falcon Heavy has 27 Merlin engines on it. So that's kind of huge. But there came up among them another little horn, there where 3 of the first horns were plucked up by the roots. And behold, in this horn were the eyes of a man, and a mouth speaking great things. I don't know if you ever heard what Elon Musk got to say. It's pretty great things. I'm going to make a civilization on Mars and terraform the planet to be like Earth. That's great things, and that's blasphemous. That's blaspheming God's tabernacle. That there's no other definition for it. That if we're talking, yeah, okay. So Revelation chapter 13 verse 2 is equivalent to Daniel 7 verse 6. Almost the same thing. But the difference is that Daniel saw the 4 heads. Daniel saw the capsules that could attach to it, the resupply, the commercial resupply stuff, and Russia's Soyuz and Progress. But John said it had 7 heads. Well, it does have 7 heads. It's got 6 government agencies, space agencies. There's NASA, the United States, Roscosmos, the Russian Space Agency, ESA, the European Space Agency, ISRO, whatever, the India, Japan, and China. And then there's SpaceX for the 7th. These are the fully launch capable organizations in the world. There's only 7. So, and actually, if you want to verify that quickly, if you go to Wikipedia and you type in fully launch capable, you'll get to a page, and if you read the first paragraph on that page, it will tell you that there's 6 agencies that have this capability. And then we have to remember that the SpaceX is also doing this. And they're the only private company going to space. They're contracted by NASA. They've had for many years. So, okay, now, this is, oh, here, another image for you. This is Falcon 9 landing. In 2015, it was the first time that a stage went up and delivered to orbit and then came back down and landed. Okay, this is a specific thing that Elon Musk did in 2015 that no one's done after going up to orbit. Okay, that Jeff Bezos and his little fake company is doing. They're landing a rocket the same way, but they're not going up into orbit. They're just going high in the atmosphere. Okay, so he doeth great wonders so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on earth in the sight of men. Not the Vatican, not the Roman Catholic Church, not the Jesuits. Well, I mean, they're all involved in this deception, in different areas of the deception. I'm not denying that. I am saying that these beasts that John describes is not that stuff. He clearly says that it makes fire come down from heaven. I only know of one thing that does that. So, there we go. Wow, there's a half hour long. That's crazy. Okay. I'm going to stop the video. And I'm terrible at making videos. But hopefully I got some of the stuff I wanted to. Hopefully I got it. You guys have a great day. All right. So that was kind of long, but hopefully you guys got something out of that. There was a lot of stuff in there that I like. As I watch it, there's a lot of stuff that I understand in a different way than I did then. Like I'm saying, like me and Thomas and Anthony were talking in the chat a little bit about whether or not people go on these rockets and stuff, and I believe they do. But I believe that everything that happens up there is all strong delusion at the same time. It's deception. It could be real. It can be entirely real. But the whole point is that that's a spiritual place up there. It's not like our world. And so the only reason that they would be going up there and be able to have a space station is because God's allowing whatever they imagine they're going to be able to do. So let's excuse me. Let's go to the desktop and we'll check out. Okay, 49 minutes till their broadcast starts. So that's plenty of time to watch this. This is only 21 minutes long. But this I made, what is this, November 4th, 2017. So it was a long time ago, but I think you guys will like I really started to understand something, and you'll be able to tell that I was just starting to learn about this stuff as far as about these people that are sealed in their forehead and everything. So I think you'll think it's interesting maybe. So I'll play this and I'll put it on full screen, and then we'll be like, 30 minutes or something, 25 minutes. And I got a bunch of videos now that I figured out how to play videos again. This one I just don't have in the right format, so we got to watch it on YouTube. So here we go. Hello. I want to read the first 4 verses of chapter 7 in the book of Revelation, and then talk about it for a second. All right. And after these things I saw 4 angels standing on the 4 corners of the earth, holding the 4 winds of the earth, that the wind should not blow on the earth, nor on the sea, nor on any tree. And I saw another angel ascending from the east, having the seal of the living God. And he cried out with a loud voice to the 4 angels whom it was given to hurt the earth and the sea, saying, Hurt not the earth, neither the sea, nor the trees, till we have sealed the servants of our God in their foreheads. And I heard the number of them which were sealed, and there were sealed 144,000 of all the tribes of the children of Israel. And then it goes on. Let's see, there was Judah, Reuben, Gad, I don't know how to say that, Gad, Aser, Nephilim, Manasseh, Simeon, Levi, Issachar, Zabulon, Joseph, Benjamin. Hope that's 12. After this, we'll just keep reading. This is verse 9. After this I beheld, and lo, a great multitude, which no man could number, of all the nations and kindreds and people and tongues, stood before the throne and before the Lamb, clothed with white robes and palms in their hands, and cried with a loud voice, saying, Salvation to our God, which sitteth upon the throne, and unto the Lamb. And all the angels stood round about the throne, and about the elders and the four beasts, and fell before the throne on their faces, and worshipped God, saying, Amen. Blessing and glory and wisdom and thanksgiving and honor and power and might be unto our God forever and ever. Amen. And one of the elders answered, saying unto me, What are these which are arrayed in white robes? And whence came they? And I said unto him, Sir, thou knowest. And he said to me, These are they which came out of great tribulation, and have washed their robes, and made them white in the blood of the Lamb. Therefore they are before the throne of God, and serve him day and night in his temple. And he that sitteth upon the throne shall dwell among them. They shall hunger no more, neither thirst any more, neither shall the sun light on them, nor any heat. For the Lamb which is in the midst of the throne shall feed them, and shall lead them unto living fountains of waters, and God shall wipe away all tears from their eyes. So we're talking about, let me give a little context. Revelation 1, verse 1. The revelation of Jesus Christ, which God gave unto him to show unto his servants things which must shortly come to pass. And he sent and signified it by his angel unto his servant John. Okay, the book of Revelation isn't something you are going to go to school and learn about. I'm sure there's all sorts of teachings and all, and people are doing what they think we should do, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, it says right here, Blessed is he that readeth, and they that hear the words of this prophecy. That's verse 3. And keep those things which are written therein, for the time is at hand. So that's one thing that we should be doing. We should be reading this and trying to understand it. But these that were arrayed in white robes, 144,000 of them. And before, let's see here, okay, there was 4 angels standing on the 4 corners of the earth. Forget the ball. Doesn't work. So you've got 4 corners, and there's angels there. And it says, the one angel, well, they're holding the 4 winds of the earth, I'm sorry. That the wind shouldn't blow on the earth, nor the sea, nor any tree. So it's calm, And I saw another angel ascending from the east, having the seal of the living God. He said, Hurt not the earth, nor the sea, nor the trees, till we have sealed the servants of God in their foreheads. So it's sounding like after they're sealed in their foreheads, that these angels are going to stop holding the winds. And I hate when people are talking about the tribulations that we read about, that Jesus said there would be a great time of tribulation, and we just read about it. Where was that? Oh yeah. Whence came they? These are they which came out of great tribulation, and have washed their robes, and made them white in the blood of the Lamb. Okay. I know everybody watching this can get the idea of what I'm talking about, but I need to explain what I'm talking about. Okay, so there's 144,000 people going to be sealed. Then, if we go to Revelation chapter 10. I'm already there. Okay, we saw an angel come down from heaven. I'll read chapter 10. And I saw another mighty angel come down from heaven, clothed with a cloud, and a rainbow was upon his head, and his face was as it were the sun, and his feet as pillars of fire. And he had in his hand a little book open, and he set his right foot upon the sea, and his left foot on the earth, and cried with a loud voice, and when the lion roareth, and when he had cried, as when the lion roareth, and when he had cried, 7 thunders uttered their voices. 7 thunders. And when the 7 thunders uttered their voices, I was about to write, I heard a voice from heaven saying unto me, seal up those things which the 7 thunders uttered, and write them not. So, seal them up. So we got 7 thunders we're looking for, sometime, somewhere, right? And then let's keep going. And the angel which I saw stand upon the sea and upon the earth lifted his hand to heaven, and sware by him that liveth forever and ever, who created the heaven and the things therein are, and the earth and the things that therein are, and the sea and the things which are therein, that there should be time no longer. But in the days of the voice of the 7th angel, when he shall begin to sound, the mystery of God should be finished, as he hath declared to his servants the prophets. And the voice which I heard from heaven spake unto me, and said, Go and take the little book which is open in the hand of the angel, which standeth upon the sea and upon the earth. And I went unto the angel, and said unto him, Give me the little book. And he said unto me, Take it, and eat it up, and it shall make thy belly bitter, but it shall be in thy mouth sweet as honey. And I took the little book out of the angel's hand, and ate it up, and it was in my mouth sweet as honey. And as soon as I had eaten it, my belly was bitter. And he said unto me, Thou must prophesy again before many peoples, nations, tongues, and kings. So, man, I want to keep going, but long videos just are bad because no one can finish them. So then the next chapter, verse 3, 11 verse 3, after he's told to measure the temple and to leave out the part where the Gentiles are going to be, because they're going to be, we got to read it, because this is all connected. And there was given me a reed like unto a rod, and the angel stood, saying, Rise and measure the temple of God, and the altar, and them that worship therein. But the court which is without the temple leave out, and measure it not, for it is given unto the Gentiles. And the holy city shall they tread under foot 42 months. Now, people are always talking about a city on earth. And when I read the book of Daniel, it gives me a different idea. I mean, I can't say that I know this, but it gives me the idea that we're talking about the host of heaven, which is another thing. I'm not so sure that the host of heaven is quite what we think it is. I get a different idea in the Word, in Daniel. That's another story. So, underfoot 40, or shall tread underfoot 42 months. Okay, then it says, John writes, And I will give power unto my 2 witnesses, and they shall prophesy 1,260 days, clothed in sackcloth. And it goes on, but, these are the 2 olive trees and the 2 candlesticks standing before the God of the earth. And it goes, and they got some crazy stuff that they can do. So back to where we began, because the candlesticks and all that, that's for another video. A cool video that, yeah. Yeah, we were in chapter 5? Or, wow, 7, okay. So what happens when they're going to prophesy for 1260 days. So in theory, just an idea, if flat earth, and then in my personal experience, they've showed me what the visions mean entirely, Revelation and Daniel. They just, for the last year, the Holy Spirit's been taking me through this and making me understand the whole thing. And it's something divine, it's spiritual, it's not me. I don't have it's not a person. That's the thing, it's not a person, it's the Holy Spirit, or the Spirit of truth. He doesn't speak of himself, he speaks what he hears. I think that John and Daniel are prophesying to the Spirit of truth, and the Spirit of truth is showing me. And a lot of other people too. There's a lot of other people that are definitely showing the Spirit. They're being taught by the Spirit, and some of the things they say don't seem to make sense until you look at it a certain way, like, whoa, I didn't understand it that way. But it's the Spirit of truth. So I'm just kind of comparing all this, going, man, this is all right in here, you know. These 144,000 in Revelation 14, they are, well, first of all, Revelation 10, that little book, okay? The little book is in chapter 5. Yeah. Chapter 5, verse 1, and I saw in the right hand of him that sat on the throne a book written within and on the back side, sealed with 7 seals. 7 thunders uttered their voices, remember? Now, that was chapter 7. We go back to chapter 5, but it's not in chronological order necessarily. But I'm just, you know, and that strong angel, well, let's see, this is something that I didn't realize myself yet. So you're learning right along with me. I saw another mighty angel. This is chapter 10, verse 1. I saw another mighty angel come down from heaven, clothed with a cloud, and a rainbow was upon his head. And his face was as it were the sun, and his feet as pillars of fire. And he had in his hand a little open book, and he set his right foot upon the sea and left foot upon the earth. So in his right hand he's got a book, and he comes down from heaven, clothed with a cloud and a rainbow, probably something like what I'm wearing, cloud, rainbow, whatever. And so then in chapter 5 it says, and I saw in the right hand of him that sat on the throne. Okay, so he's sitting on a throne. It's not an angel, so it's probably not the same thing, so never mind. But who is worthy to open the book? And it is, behold, the Lion of the tribe of Judah, the root of David, hath prevailed to open the book, to loose the 7 seals thereof. I don't know. I've heard that that's Jesus, and I don't know. I just can't say I have any input on that. But the book was bitter in his stomach, and it was sweet in his mouth. Bitter and sweet is, I've mentioned this before, flat earth is very bitter, very, but more sweet. I don't know how to say it. It's truth. It's yeah. Doesn't matter how much bitterness comes with it. It does its thing. And you know what that is in my life personally, my life has changed entirely in the last 2 years. up here and in here. And it's the Holy Spirit or the Spirit of truth, but it's not something I'm doing. It's not something I would be able to do. I can definitely say that I've been sealed by I have the seal of the living God in my forehead, and I have the Spirit of truth with me. And 2 years ago, I would have laughed at somebody saying that. I was like, yeah, you like them emotional things, don't you? This isn't like that. So anyway, 17-minute video. Oh, we're not done here. Okay, the ones that are, what is it? In white robes, yeah. Well, okay, Revelation 14. And I looked, and lo, a lamb stood on the Mount Zion, and with him 144,000, having his Father's name written in their foreheads. So people are always thinking that I'm just picking a verse or something. This is all connected. You have to pay attention to things like that. Having his Father's name in their foreheads, okay? Well, take me out of it. Whoops. Battery thing just went. Okay, I better plug that in. So take me out of it. I'm not talking about me being sealed in the forehead, but I'm talking about the angel that told the four winds to stop, or to hold back the wind until, or not to hurt all the stuff until the servants of their God were sealed in their foreheads. So speaking of, you're not a Jew, you're a Gentile. How do you know? And I think that, yeah, probably while those 7 seals were sealed, we probably didn't really have a good idea about much in Revelation, okay? And I think why it says to read it is so that we're familiar with it when it manifests into reality like it has. So this, I wish I would have known this better 5 years ago, because it's only been a year that I've been understanding this, and not a year that I've been understanding it. I'm saying learning it, being shown or taught in the Word. But yeah, that 144,000 is on earth right now, and they're getting sealed. And it's not a coincidence that flat earth becomes popular and that I, just decide one day, no, it's not, there's no such thing as space up there. I'm starting to think NASA's a big BS lie. And then you look into it, and then it just solidifies into a solid rock of this. This is so accurate on everything. But in Revelation, it's hard. People always say it's interpretation. No, I don't think you need to interpret it when you're experiencing it. So that's what I'm leaving you with. Flat Earth is, it's silly, isn't it? Well, this book gives me the idea that, and I'm just going to say it, the flat earthers that find Christ, that in here, you got to have this, they are going to rule with the rod of iron for 1,000 years with Christ. In 3.5 years, yeah. The Gentiles will, what did it say? Trodden underfoot for, let's see. Well, there's going to be 1,260 days of prophesying by 2 witnesses. I'm witness to that. Well, I'm not witness to them, but I'm witness to the Spirit of truth showing me and telling me what they said. Okay. Let's see. Yeah. It's the flat earthers. Book closed. No, I'm just kidding. Think about it. Alright, what's up? So that was a kind of a long video too, but I thought that was interesting. That one was, what was it? It was November 4th, 2017. Down from having okay, I'm just gonna lose that page. We got 26 minutes till SpaceX is going to be, well, we'll see. A lot of times it depends on the weather. If it's windy or something, they'll push it back another hour, but I think they only had like a 4-hour window, which is really doesn't make any sense. They don't need a window if they're not going high, like up high, but I guess they kind of are. But Spare Room Music, I'm trying to understand what you're asking or what you're wondering. Something about the rockets, and I'm just scrolling up right now to see. Whoops. Let's see. Actually, I can do that on here, I think. Yeah, I can do that right here. Oh, now we're gonna have. Okay, so let's see. I'll have to let these catch up. Oh, that one's way behind, isn't it? I'm just gonna pause that page. There, look, I got my eyes closed now. Okay, I'm gonna try to read your comments really fast when they slide by. I'm just kidding. Hey, Joey Rocha, Morvis, good to see you guys. Okay, it looks like I'm caught up, or maybe not. By my records, sperms. Okay, what's not how rockets work? What's the claim? I think rockets work just how they work, I guess. You know what I realized too? I think I'm on camera. Maybe. Am I? Maybe not. I can't tell because I'm not on the right page. I think I'm on camera. Or I think I had a camera on, but it's off to the side. Okay, someone said that's not how rockets work. Wondered what she was responding to. Oh, okay. I'm not sure, actually. You can see me now? Or was it just when I waved my hand? Here, actually, I'm going to go to this program, go to video. Whoops. I got a couple videos to show you guys. Let's watch this SpaceX plume. Let's watch War in Heaven for a minute while I find another video. Alright. This is SpaceX Dragon that we're watching right now. Remember Revelation 12? Okay, I'm grabbing a video here. I'm grabbing a video that will explain to Spare Room Music and anyone else wondering why I am like I'm not worried about this launch, but just why it seems odd what they're doing to fully fuel a rocket, to fly it for a minute and a half and then blow it up. I mean, I guess that's the nature of this demonstration. They're simulating a failure. So yeah, I get it, but let's see, where's this video? It's in a different folder. Which one? Oh, I think it's, whoops. I still want to read Isaiah too. Isaiah 14. Let's see here. Full videos. I have a 1-minute video. Okay. Here's the 1-minute video. This might explain my concern. Okay, hopefully you saw that. That's what the Bible describes happening. That darkness, those in the Bible, it's waters above. So that darkness, it's a great city that the world is deceived by, and they won't repent and turn away from this city called Babylon the Great, which is actually a prison for fallen angels and evil spirits. So the whole idea of space exploration is it's from the spirit of Apollo, and it's these fallen angels that have seduced us into worshiping false gods. And at the time we live in now, everyone has been doing this, me included. Everyone in the world. Satan deceived the whole world. So it's kind of concerning. Hey, here's a good video. Should be this. Just some verses about heaven. Psalm 18 verse 9. He bowed the heavens also and came down, and darkness was under his feet. Isaiah 50 verse 3. I clothe the heavens with blackness, and I make sackcloth their covering. Proverbs 30 verse 4. Who hath ascended up into heaven, or descended? Who hath gathered the wind in his fists? Who hath bound the waters in a garment? Who hath established all the ends of the earth? What is his name, and what is his son's name, if thou canst tell? Deuteronomy 4 verse 11. And ye came near and stood under the mountain, and the mountain burned with fire unto the midst of heaven, with darkness, clouds, and thick darkness. Revelation 21 verse 2. And I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from God out of heaven, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. John 1 verse 32. And John bare record, saying, I saw the Spirit descending from heaven like a dove, and it abode upon him. Deuteronomy 4 verse 39. Know therefore this day, and consider it in thine heart, that the Lord, he is God in heaven above, and upon the earth beneath there is none else. Job 22 verse 12. Is not God in the height of heaven? And behold the height of the stars, how high they are. John 3 verse 13. And no man hath ascended up to heaven, but he that came down from heaven, even the Son of Man which is in heaven. Psalm 102 verse 19. For he hath looked down from the height of his sanctuary. From heaven did the Lord behold the earth. Psalm 115 verse 3. But our God is in the heavens. He hath done whatsoever he hath pleased. Matthew 26 verse 64. Jesus saith unto him, Thou hast said, Nevertheless I say unto you, hereafter shall ye see the Son of Man sitting on the right hand of power, and coming in the clouds of heaven. Job 37 verse 18. Hast thou with him spread out the sky, which is strong, and as a molten looking glass? Isaiah 66 verse 1. Thus saith the Lord, The heaven is my throne, and the earth is my footstool. Where is the house that ye build unto me? Where is the place of my rest? Psalm 11 verse 4. The Lord is in his holy temple. The Lord's throne is in heaven. His eyes behold, his eyelids try the children of men. Psalm 14 verse 2. The Lord looked down from heaven upon the children of men, to see if there were any that did understand and seek God. Psalm 33 verse 13. The Lord looketh from heaven, he beholdeth all the sons of men. I love those verses. You know, I really don't know how someone can listen to those verses. I mean, that's just a few verses. I don't know how someone can listen to those and not understand why rockets are a problem. In what is it? It's in Enoch chapter 56. It says when the angels return, that they will tread underfoot the land of God's elect ones, which, in my understanding, that is New Jerusalem, which is in heaven. It's the temple of God in heaven. So that's what they're doing. But Spare Room Music, I can listen to those and not believe them. You do not have to believe them. That's what, like, if I could do anything, I would change that. I would change that so you do believe them. But that's not what I can do. That's obviously up to you. But I am very glad that you come around and hang out. I am. That's actually the only reason why I have a channel, is just because I think people need to hear this information. Maybe you'll like this video of Spare Room Music. This is about the dark matter. This is a NASA JPL. I don't know what you call it. Like a teaching that these astrophysicists did. And it's very interesting what they say about looking through the dark matter and the effects that it has on what we see, and combining that with the Bible saying that there's dark waters up there. Now, they're not going to necessarily be water like we have in the ocean or the lakes here on Earth, but it's waters. So whatever it is, it's celestial. And so I'm not saying I understand the nature of that water, but this video I think you guys will like.
So I'm going to tell you about how we measure dark matter, since it's invisible. What I have here is a cartoon of how we measure dark matter. In cosmology, we measure distances with a unit called Z. So we're here at Z of 0. We're the observer. We're 0 distance from ourselves. And here's our telescope. And we look at distant galaxies out in the universe. These distant galaxies that are of Z about 1. And that might sound like a small distance, but how we do it in cosmology is a distance of 1 is actually about halfway to the edge of the visible universe. So this is a very distant galaxy. In the absence of anything between us and that galaxy,
and God said, "Let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters."
And God made the firmament, and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament. And it was so. And God called the firmament heaven, and the evening and the morning were the second day.
the light from this galaxy would take a straight path to us. But we know from the work that Vera Rubin and others did that there's all this dark matter out there in the universe. And we're particularly sensitive with this technique to dark matter that's about halfway between us and the distant galaxy. Excuse me. One of the consequences of Einstein's theory of relativity, our theory of gravity, is that mass bends space. So what this means is the light, when it gets near this dark matter, won't take a straight path to us. That light is going to take a distorted and curved path. And I'm showing a very, very exaggerated version of that here, so it's easier to see. The consequence of this is that we will not see the galaxy as it actually is. We'll see a distorted version of the galaxy. So the dark matter between us, which we can't see, has distorted our image of this distant galaxy. And in doing so, it's telling us something about the dark matter. So I'm going to tell you with one more analogy. I'm going to use another analogy for how we measure dark matter. This is a penny in a pool. That's the analogy here. And full disclosure, Alina and I don't actually have a pool. So you're looking at a penny in our bathtub, but penny in the pool sounds better. So in this analogy, The penny is like the distant galaxy. And the water in our bathtub or the water in a pool is like the dark matter. You don't see the water here, but you know it's there because you see the effect on the image of the penny. So what's happening is the light is coming to us from the penny, and it's taking some distorted path that changes our perceived shape of the penny so that we know the water is there. So that we know the water is there. In much the same way as the light from a distant galaxy comes to us, takes a distorted path through the dark matter, and we see a distorted image of that galaxy. But we don't see the dark matter. We don't see the water. So that we know the water is there. I could tell the density of the water and how much water there was, and that's going to tell us a lot about the properties of dark matter. That's how we're learning about dark matter now, and that's how we're going to learn about dark matter in the future.
He made darkness his secret place. His pavilion round about him were dark waters and thick clouds of the skies. I like that video. I got another one here. We got 10 minutes till Spacex is supposed to be on. For any of you speaking the truth, check this video out. 6 verse 20. And he lifted up his eyes on his disciples and said, Blessed be ye poor, for yours is the kingdom of God. Blessed are ye that hunger now, for ye shall be filled. Blessed are ye that weep now, for ye shall laugh. Blessed are ye when men shall hate you, and when they shall separate you from their company, and shall reproach you and cast out your name as evil for the Son of Man's sake. Rejoice ye in that day, and leap for joy, for behold, your reward is great in heaven, for in like manner did their fathers unto the prophets. So, yeah, be encouraged. That was Luke chapter 6. I don't know which verses. Okay, I'm going to take this time. Let's see. I'm going to read a couple things really quick. So we got 9 minutes, so it's a perfect amount of time for me to read some stuff out of Isaiah. I was just reading that this morning or last night or whatever you want to call it. Because I actually was going to put a post on Facebook that said, here, let's watch, I'm going to switch the video really quick to something else because I didn't show it to you guys yet. But it's just so there's something on the screen. Where is it? Okay. Should be this one. Let's watch this. This is another SpaceX Dragon launch in the background here. So I was in Isaiah because I was going to put a post on Facebook saying, hey, I found NASA in the Bible. I found their mission statement in the Bible in Isaiah 14. But the Bible people didn't get it right. They said it was Lucifer. No, it's NASA. You guys know what I'm talking about? Okay, verse 12 in chapter 14 of Isaiah. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. That's like NASA's mission statement. But now listen to this, you guys. What Roderick said, very important. That was in Isaiah 2, I believe, where it said, hell hath enlarged herself or something like that. So in Isaiah, the same chapter, right before what I read just a second ago, in verse 9, it says, hell from beneath is moved for thee to meet thee at thy coming. It stirreth up the dead for thee, even all the chief ones of the earth. It hath raised up from their thrones all the kings of the nations. Let's see. Okay, I want to read verse 15 says, this, Roderick, this has something to do with what you were saying, I think. Verse 15 in Isaiah 14. Yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit. So Lucifer says in his heart he's going to ascend into heaven, but he's going to be brought down to hell. So I think what that means is hell, exactly what verse 9 says, hell from beneath is moved for thee, to meet thee at thy coming. So, and I'm going to continue in verse 16. They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying, is this the man that made the earth to tremble and did shake kingdoms? Check Enoch 57. Okay, Isaiah 14, verse 17. That made the world as a wilderness and destroyed the cities thereof, that opened not the house of his prisoners? All the kings of the nations, even all of them, lie in glory, every one in his own house. But thou art cast out of thy grave like an abominable branch, and as the raiment of those that are slain, thrust through with the sword that go down to the stones of the pit, as a carcass trodden under feet. Thou shalt not be joined with them in burial, because thou hast destroyed thy land, and slain thy people. The seed of evildoers shall never be renowned. Prepare slaughter for his children, for the iniquity of their fathers, that they do not rise, nor possess the land. And I gotta stop there. Possess the land? Destroyed the land? Is that talking about New Jerusalem? I don't know. But it says, because when it says rise and these kind of words, we have to pay attention to those words. Very important. Okay. They do not rise, nor possess the land, nor fill the face of the world with cities. For I will rise up against them, saith the Lord of hosts, and cut off from Babylon the name and remnant and son and nephew, saith the Lord. I will also make it a possession for the bittern and pools of water. I will sweep it with the besom of destruction, saith the Lord of hosts. The Lord of hosts hath sworn, saying, surely as I have thought, so shall it come to pass. And as I have purposed, so it shall stand. That's heavy stuff. So let's see, I think there's another thing I want to read. I gotta find it. It's also in Isaiah. I think it's in Isaiah 9. Oops. Oh wait, no it isn't. Oh. Okay. The thing I was actually thinking of was in Genesis, when Adam sinned, I'm reading Roderick's comment, something went up so man wouldn't have eternal life in that state. Interesting. Something went up. Not sure what you mean. Not sure of what you mean. Let's see here. Tragic Flat Earth, good to see you. And Bob 733333, good to see you. Nat, good to see you. There, that was my first time saying your name with ease. Okay, I guess it's in, well, we could read chapter 12 and 13. Or, I'll start in chapter 12. We got 2 minutes till Spacex, so I might just read, you know what, I'm going to read 13 verse 9, just a few verses. Behold, the day of the Lord cometh, cruel both with wrath and fierce anger, to lay the land desolate, and he shall destroy the sinners thereof out of it. For the stars of heaven and the constellations thereof shall not give their light, and the sun shall be darkened in his going forth, and the moon shall not cause her light to shine. And I will punish the world for their evil, and the wicked for their iniquity, and I will cause the arrogancy of the proud to cease, and I will lay low the haughtiness of the terrible. I will make a man more precious than fine gold, even a man than the golden wedge of Ophir. Therefore I will shake the heavens, and the earth shall remove out of her place in the wrath of the Lord of hosts in the day of his fierce anger. And it shall be as the chase roe, and as a sheep that no man taketh up. They shall every man turn to his own people, and flee every one into his own land. Alright, we're going to stop there so that I can make sure that we have the SpaceX thing going. Oops, desktop. Okay, whoops. I can't do full screen yet, I guess. Which that makes sense because they're not playing a video yet. It says they're waiting for SpaceX, so that's cool. And as soon as it comes on, I will go to full screen. Thomas Morgan, I do every launch. I think it's insane that a person that reads the book of Revelation could just say that this is all speculation or something. After, it's the Holy Spirit. So it's not like, it's not something that everyone's going to believe or understand. So I guess, it seems like, oh, it's logical. It makes sense. It's logical, but it's just something. Sometimes some things are, some people are supposed to hear certain things and some people aren't. Or maybe, maybe one person hears something before another person or whatever, however that works. But it's all done with perfect organization by the Holy Spirit. So we might, not know what's going to happen, but the Holy Spirit is doing everything to prepare. And Michael is also, he delivers the children of Israel. So Michael has a big, huge job or responsibility. I'll go to Daniel. We'll read Daniel 12. Even when they start these SpaceX things, they're usually talking about boring nothing. But so you guys know that Michael is the, where does it say that? Oh, it's the first verse in chapter 12. Okay, this is Daniel 12, verse 1. And at that time shall Michael stand up, and the great prince, which standeth for the children of thy people. And there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time thy people shall be delivered, every one that shall be found written in the book. And many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, some to everlasting life, and some to shame and everlasting contempt. And they that be wise shall shine as the brightness of the firmament, and they that turn many to righteousness as the stars forever and ever. But thou, O Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book, even to the time of the end. Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased. The word of the Lord... Oh, sorry, I skipped to the Hosea. Okay, then I, Daniel, looked, and behold, there stood other two, the one on this side of the bank of the river, and the other on that side of the bank of the river. And one said to the man clothed in linen, which was upon the waters of the river, How long shall it be to the end of these wonders? And I heard a man, and I heard a man clothed in linen, which was upon the waters of the river, when he held up his right hand and his left hand unto heaven, and swear by him that liveth forever, that it shall be for a time, times, and a half. And when he shall have accomplished to scatter the power of the holy people, all these things shall be finished. And I heard, but I understood not. Then said I, O my Lord, what shall be the end of these things? And he said, Go thy way, Daniel, for the words are closed up and sealed till the end, till the time of the end. Many shall be purified and made white and tried, but the wicked shall do wickedly, and none of the wicked shall understand, but the wise shall understand. And from the time that the daily sacrifice shall be taken away, and the abomination that maketh desolate set up, there shall be 1,290 days. Blessed is he that waiteth, and cometh to the 1,335 or 5 and 30 days. But go thou. This is where Daniel is told he's going to be doing something at the end of days. But go thy way till the end be, for thou shalt rest, and stand in thy lot at the end of days. So Daniel's shown a vision of the end of days, and then he's told, go rest. You're going to have to stand in your lot at the end of days, right? I should probably just refresh this page and make sure that... Okay, good. Look at that. They've got 90,683 people waiting. That's insane. That's a fan base. So, I'm going to read a couple things in Zechariah 13. Zechariah 13, verse 1. Or no, actually not verse 1. What am I thinking? I wanted to read just verses 8 and 9. And it shall come to pass that in all the land, saith the Lord, 2 parts therein shall be cut off and die, but the third shall be left therein. And I will bring the third part through the fire, and will refine them as silver is refined, and will try them as gold is tried. They shall call on my name, and I will hear them. I will say, it is my people, and they shall say, the Lord is my God. And we were in Luke chapter 6 for that one video, that really quick video. I might read a little bit more of that. Let's see. I guess it's going to be chapter 7. Okay, this is, I love this part right here. Okay, this is in Luke chapter 7. I'll start in verse 20. When the men were come unto him, they said, John Baptist hath sent us unto thee, saying, Art thou he that should come? Or look we for another? Ooh, Spacex. Okay, I'll go full screen, but I'm going to keep reading. And I might... How do I do the volume? Oh, I'm going to have to do it here. Whoops. I just want to turn it down a little bit. And I don't even know if that's controlling the volume you guys hear. I gotta look on here to see that. Okay. Can you guys hear me okay with that music going? Okay, cool. Whoops, I hit the wrong button again. I was just going a little quieter. I just want to be able to hear when they start chatting or whatever. Because who knows, they might just start the launch right away, or maybe not. So you should have full screen, and I still have the mic. I like that. Oh, I never got a hold of Kent. Andrew, welcome. Good to see you. So, SpaceX rudely erupted us while we were reading. Okay, so they said, John the Baptist has sent us unto thee, saying, Art thou he that should come? Or look we for another? And in that same hour he cured many of their infirmities and plagues, and of evil spirits, and unto many that were blind he gave sight. Then Jesus answering said unto them, Go your way, and tell John what things ye have seen and heard, how the blind see, the lame walk, the lepers are cleansed, the deaf hear, the dead are raised, to the poor the gospel is preached. And blessed is he whosoever shall not be offended in me. And when the messengers of John were departed, he began to speak unto the people concerning John. What went ye out into the wilderness for to see? A reed shaken in the wind with the wind? But what went ye out for to see? A man clothed in soft raiment? Behold, they which are gorgeously apparelled and live delicately are in king's courts. But what went ye out for to see? A prophet? Yea, I say unto you, and much more than a prophet. This is he of whom it is written, Behold, I send my messenger before thy face, which shall prepare thy way before thee. For I say unto you, among those that are born of women there is not a greater prophet than John the Baptist, but he that is least in the kingdom of God is greater than he. And all the people that heard him, and the publicans, justified God, being baptized with the baptism of John. Let's see here. Okay, I lost my place. But the Pharisees and lawyers rejected the counsel of God against themselves, being not baptized of him. And the Lord said, Whereunto then shall I liken these men of this generation? And to what are they like? They are like unto children sitting in the marketplace, and calling one to another, and saying, We have piped unto you, and ye have not danced. We have mourned to you, and ye have not wept. For John the Baptist came neither eating bread nor drinking wine, and ye say, He hath a devil. The Son of Man is come eating and drinking, and ye say, Behold, a gluttonous man, and a winebibber, a friend of publicans and sinners. But wisdom is justified of all her children. You know who that reminds me of? Daniel Pratt. Not Don Pratt. Daniel Pratt. Like, Jesus, all these Pharisees thought that they were holy or something in some... And I see this today. I see people with this fake holiness that's not of God. And Jesus sat with the publicans and the sinners. Oh, here we go. All right, I'm turning my mic off for a while. Enjoy.
It's Sunday, 19th of January, and we are awaiting SpaceX's launch escape test in just under 17 minutes and 8 seconds. The test today is to demonstrate the effectiveness of our launch escape system. Now we are currently go for launch from pad 39A at Kennedy Space Center at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thanks for joining us. I'm John Isberger, Falcon Principal Integration Engineer here at SpaceX headquarters in Hawthorne, California.
And I'm Marie Lewis with NASA Public Affairs. The purpose of today's test is to demonstrate Crew Dragon's ability to safely fly astronauts away from danger and separate from the Falcon 9 rocket during an in-flight emergency. Now, SpaceX's launch escape system is a first of its kind, with its 8 Super Draco thrusters built directly into Dragon to push the spacecraft away from Falcon 9 in case of an emergency. You can think of it as a rocket on top of a rocket.
Now, in order to test our launch escape system, which is integral to the Dragon spacecraft you see in front of you on the video, we will be simulating an emergency with Falcon 9 at about 84 seconds into flight. This could be a few seconds early or late, as Dragon waits for Falcon 9 to reach a specific velocity before initiating the escape. Now, before Dragon separates and fires its Super Draco engines, it will command Falcon 9 to shut down its engines as part of the escape sequence. Because Falcon 9 is then unpowered, we are expecting the launch vehicle to fully break up at some point, which should create some particularly interesting views.
For sure.
Now, it's not every day you get to see something like that, so we're going to do our best to bring it to you live as it happens. But a reminder, with the weather and the clouds, we're going to try to find the views that are best. And to be very clear, this is all part of today's test. Within the context of this test, the views that you will see will allow us to validate the effectiveness of our launch escape system.
And we're hoping for some very exciting views, but the whole point of the test today is the next step in our multi-year efforts to fly astronauts again from U.S. soil. It's part of NASA's Commercial Crew Program, and it's a partnership we have with SpaceX and Boeing. But this is not the first time we are putting Dragon's launch escape system to the test. If you remember, back in 2015, SpaceX's Abort test demonstrated Dragon's ability to escape from the Falcon 9 in the event of an emergency on the pad before liftoff. And the Super Dracos in the launch escape system on today's Dragon capsule you see there were successfully static fired this past November.
And in addition to the test that you just mentioned, SpaceX also flew a full uncrewed demonstration mission to and from the International Space Station last year with its Crew Dragon vehicle. Now, this was a full end-to-end test of the entire Crew Dragon system, validating that our upgraded Crew Dragon spacecraft could safely dock with the space station. And in addition, our team has conducted over 700 tests on just the Super Draco system alone. Really looking forward to seeing those perform in today's flight.
Absolutely. And if all goes well today, the next big milestone will be to launch astronauts, as we mentioned, to the International Space Station. That's part of what we call Demo 2 or Demonstration Mission 2.
Now, we're currently just inside of T-minus 13 minutes and 45 seconds and counting down. Now, weather's been a watch item the last couple of days with rough seas, sustained winds in the recovery area. We had to scrub yesterday. We're also still listening. They're evaluating constantly the weather in the splashdown area right now as we're doing the webcast. Now, we do have a 6-hour window today in case we need to wait for better weather or less cloud cover. We've obviously used 2.5 hours of it already, but right now we think this is our best opportunity. Now, if the weather does not cooperate today, we are preserving tomorrow as a potential backup. Now, as a reminder again, this is not a typical launch. We're purposely testing Dragon's escape system under the most extreme conditions. So while we want everything to go right today, we are prepared if everything goes wrong.
And if that does happen, that's the whole point. This is exactly why we test. We want to see if there's any potential issues, and we want them to happen now so we can address those before we put astronauts on board. And speaking of astronauts, we have NASA's Daryl Nail at Kennedy Space Center in Florida. That's where the test is taking place this morning. And he has more about what those very first astronauts assigned to fly Crew Dragon will be paying special attention to this morning. Daryl?
Yeah, good morning, John and Marie. It's a pretty nice day here at the Kennedy Space Center in Florida. You can see behind us here on the lawn, some of the media have gathered to shoot this launch. And of course, the countdown clock, the iconic one, they're counting 12 minutes until launch. As you mentioned, the first crew members assigned to fly Crew Dragon are NASA astronauts Doug Hurley and Bob Behnken. And they have the most, you could say, invested in the outcome of this test flight. Right now, they are just a few miles away from Launch Pad 39A, which is just behind my left shoulder here. They're in the Spacex firing room inside the Launch Control Center, where they will closely monitor today's flight abort test. Now, right now, they've been training up until this point, training hard with NASA and SpaceX so they can understand every aspect of Dragon's systems, their spacesuits, and how to respond in a variety of potential emergency scenarios, including an escape from a Falcon 9 rocket in the middle of flight. The end result of that could be an early splashdown in the Atlantic Ocean. Now, both astronauts told us what they will specifically be looking for during today's test flight.
I think both of us are really excited that the in-flight abort test is about to happen. You know, we kind of view that as the graduation exercise, like a lot of folks do on the NASA side, to make sure that we're really confident that we've got a good plan and good procedures in place for pulling that mission off. And so I'm excited that we're this far, and I know once it's behind us, you know, we'll be the prime Falcon 9 Crew Dragon crew.
What we want to see from this test is just an end-to-end success. And so, you know, another successful launch of the Falcon 9, and then to see the Super Dracos work.
I think that's a really good point. I think getting the NASA team and the SpaceX team on the same page, kind of going forward and kind of walking through all the decisions that you have to make for getting ready for this flight, I think is a big milestone as well, because it's the last launch associated with us before we ride that rocket.
Yeah, that's very true. It is. It's kind of the final exam, so there's a lot riding on it, but also I think it's a culmination of a ton of work from everybody in NASA and SpaceX to get to this point.
I'm just really proud that the team is trying to pull off something so critical from a safety perspective. You know, if we needed to escape off of the rocket, to have that system demoed before we would actually use it is pretty cool that folks are making the investment to make that happen.
We feel really excited about kind of the progress that SpaceX and NASA have made to this point, and this kind of shows us that we're getting really close to our flight. So to see all these capabilities all put together, all the teams together, and to be able to launch this vehicle, it's just a huge boost of confidence.
Now, there's an interesting human side to Doug and Bob's story. They're not just crewmates, but they're also friends who have spent a lot of time together over the years. Both graduated from the same astronaut training class in 2000. Both flew on the space shuttle. Both are married to astronauts, and they were in each other's wedding. John and Marie, back to you.
All right, thanks, Daryl. You're taking a live look now. This is inside SpaceX's firing room 4. That's where Bob and Doug are sitting today, along with the NASA and SpaceX teams, following along today's test. And this past Friday, they completed what we refer to internally as a dry dress rehearsal. We saw some video of that during Daryl's segment. This is where the astronauts, along with the SpaceX and NASA teams, walk through those steps that they'll take before they get on board for Demo 2. We saw them suit up, and that is really exciting stuff, especially that was the first time we saw them suited up walking out of the astronaut suit-up room, and so really looking forward to doing that for Demo 2. Let's take a quick look now at Crew Dragon. It stands almost 27 feet tall from the bottom of the trunk to the top of the nose cone. And Crew Dragon is composed of 2 main elements. The capsule, that top portion, is designed to hold crew and pressurized cargo, and it has an unpressurized section known as the trunk that's down below. For today's test, much of the exciting work is going to be done by the Dragon's 8 Super Draco engines we talked about, built directly into the capsule.
Now, to give you a sense of power, when fired together, the 8 Super Dracos can move the spacecraft a half a mile in 7.5 seconds. So from a standing start, the Super Dracos accelerate the spacecraft to a speed of 436 miles per hour. That's a lot faster than a catapult launch from an aircraft carrier.
I know, and it's hard to imagine just moving that fast. I was trying to get a feel for it. So I did a little math, and it's about 3 times faster than takeoff on a commercial plane, if you can imagine that. In fact, one jetpack assembly, which consists of 2 Super Dracos, produces more thrust than an F-16 fighter jet at full afterburn. So John, if you were to put that, strap that to your back, you would break the sound barrier in under half a second. Not sure you'd want to volunteer for that.
I'd probably break something else too. So that gets us through the major test objective today, Dragon separating from the Falcon. Several minutes later, we will deploy drogue parachutes, followed by the 4 large main parachutes. You'll see the main parachutes partially open at first if we've got video, then fully open. These will then control the descent of the Dragon capsule softly into the Atlantic Ocean.
And while that vehicle that you see on the pad looks like a typical Crew Dragon spacecraft from the outside, if you had a look inside, you'll see that the interiors have been stripped down, and there it is. We do have a look inside for you. The cabin has no interior panels except for one on the ceiling, and there's no control panel in there for this test. Dragon's also outfitted with 2 seats that you see there, and sitting inside those seats, we have 2 anthropomorphic test devices.
What, no cool acronym? I'll just call them test devices.
We have enough acronyms, John.
While the test devices do not have any sensors on them today, the seats they're sitting on are instrumented. We'll be able to measure the loads on the seat to ensure that there are no unexpected issues in this stressing test case. We've also made some other modifications to the Dragon interior for today's test.
That's right. There will be 3 cargo racks with some assortment of ballast or cargo bags and no floor. Now, below where the floor would be, there will be an assortment of mass simulators in place of the life support components and some other equipment that's down there when we have crew aboard.
Now, the test today will look a lot like a normal Falcon launch for the first minute and a half. We'll fly until Falcon 9 reaches a predetermined velocity. This will occur about 84 seconds into flight, and that happens at approximately 20 kilometers up. Once we reach the required velocity, Dragon will then trigger an escape. Now, as a reminder, the ground is not commanding this abort. It's up to the onboard computers to determine when to trigger the launch escape and do all the functions afterward. Once Dragon does trigger the launch escape, the first event will be commanding Falcon 9 to shut down its 9 Merlin engines. Now, as Marie and I mentioned earlier, Dragon will then separate from the Falcon using its 8 Super Draco engines, firing for about 8 seconds. That carries Dragon capsule with the trunk up and away from Falcon. Now, once they finish firing the Super Dracos, we coast, we jettison the trunk at apogee, we reorient the capsule to come back for entry into the Earth's atmosphere. We deploy about 2 minutes after apogee the drogue chutes, and about a minute after that, the 4 main parachutes will be released. Dragon will then splash down softly in the Atlantic Ocean, about 35 kilometers offshore. Now, when Dragon separates, we no longer have that smooth aerodynamic shape on top of the rocket. So the supersonic Falcon is going to be exposed to strong aerodynamic forces in the upper atmosphere. So we expect those aerodynamic forces will cause Falcon to start to tumble. Our simulations show that the Falcon will likely break apart due to the tumbling, instead of having the destruct system triggered and destroying the rocket. So now again, this entire test will take less than 10 minutes from the time Falcon 9 lifts off until Dragon splashes down. But Marie, once we splash down, the work's not over yet.
Right, it's just beginning for the recovery team. We have a lot of things happening very rapidly in that first 10 minutes, and the recovery operation takes quite a bit longer. It'll be similar to the pad abort test, but it will happen slightly farther down range in the Atlantic Ocean. So after splashdown, recovery teams will already be standing by for range approval to enter and clear that hazardous area. And if all goes nominally, SpaceX could have fully recovered Dragon back onto its recovery ship approximately 2 hours after splashdown. Keep in mind, though, if this were to happen during an actual flight with crew on board, rescuing them would be the #1 objective, of course, and recovering Dragon would be a secondary operation. So if that were to happen, an elite military rescue team would deploy at a moment's notice. They're part of the U.S. Air Force's Detachment 3, or they have this really great nickname, the Guardian Angels, which is very appropriate. They would jump from military aircraft. There's a photo of that happening there where they would deploy their own parachutes to gently reach the water water. And from there, they would help the crew out of the capsule and then onto a life raft to wait for a larger ship. Now, this is not just any life raft. It has a cover that they can put over the top to protect them from the elements, and it's also equipped with food, water, and medical supplies, enough to last for days if needed. This would be, of course, a worst-case scenario. It's one that we don't expect to happen, but of course, what do we do when we're preparing to fly crew? We always plan for the worst. So this is something that NASA, SpaceX, and the Department of Defense have rehearsed together over and over so that we're ready for anything.
And the SpaceX recovery team is also keeping an eye out for Falcon 9. As we mentioned earlier, Falcon 9 is expected to break up over the water. And we've got a dedicated team of SpaceX recovery personnel who will be staged and ready to begin recovering debris shortly after breakup. Well, the clock's kicking down rapidly. We're just over T-minus 2 minutes and 14 seconds from liftoff. You've seen the crew access arm. It's back. That was retracted away from Dragon at T-minus 42 minutes. A few minutes after that, Dragon launch escape system was armed just before we began loading propellant onto the Falcon 9. So if an unplanned situation arose right now, Dragon would perform an escape. Now currently the engines are chilled in for launch on the Falcon. The Dragon spacecraft is waiting for liftoff. We have retracted, and you can see in the video the strongback is moved away just about 2 degrees in readiness for liftoff. We have also finished loading liquid oxygen onto both the stages, so the Falcon 9 is just about ready. The large white cloud you see coming off of the side, we're venting down the pressure from the liquid oxygen supply lines in the strongback in preparation for launch. The last event you're going to hear, start up at 1 minute when the computers take over and the launch director go at 30 seconds.
And we're coming right up on that in about 15 seconds now. We'll be just a minute from liftoff. And Falcon 9 is, as you just heard, is moving into those final stages of the final countdown for the in-flight abort test today. So far, weather's looking okay. We're hoping it's going to continue to cooperate, and the range is green for launch. Now, if for some reason we scrub today, we will shift to our backup launch window, which is tomorrow at the same time. Again, this is just a test. We're fully expecting Falcon 9 to break up, so don't be alarmed if you see that happening live. And with that, let's listen in now. We're just 45 seconds from the final countdown.
FTS is armed. Go for launch.
Minus 15 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Ignition, liftoff. Simplify, aim high. Go Falcon, go Dragon.
Vehicle is pitching downrange.
T plus 30 seconds. Falcon 9 with the Crew Dragon capsule is heading east from pad 39A. Everything looking good right now. As we get ready for max dynamic pressure, we are now throttling down the first stage engines on the Falcon 9.
Power and telemetry nominal.
Everything continues to look good. We're approaching the period of maximum dynamic pressure.
Vehicle is supersonic and passing through maximum dynamic pressure.
You've heard we're supersonic. We're through max Q. We're getting ready now to throttle the engines back up on the first stage.
Stage 1, throttle up.
There's the call out. Okay, the major activity coming up in just over 10 seconds. Shutdown and Dragon escape from the Falcon 9.
Miko.
Dragon launch escape initiated.
Dragon's away.
And you can hear some really loud cheering in the room. Okay, you just saw a bright flash there. It looks like that may be Falcon 9 breaking up. We've got some loud cheers here in Hawthorne, the folks that just watched live the Dragon separate. The next milestone we have coming up at 2 minutes, 25 seconds, we're expecting to see the trunk jettison. So that claw that connects the trunk to the capsule is going to separate, allowing Dragon to separate from the trunk. That's coming up in 15 seconds.
And we do have the report, loss of telemetry from Falcon 9, first stage.
And there you just saw the trunk jettison. Again, some really loud cheers here in Hawthorne, California. This test is looking great so far.
Nice view from the back of the Dragon capsule. We're also trying to see if we get the view there on the right-hand side from the aircraft that's orbiting the area. Now the Dragon control system is now going to be reorienting the capsule. We're at a high altitude where the aerodynamics are negligible. So we're going to use the small Draco thrusters on the Dragon capsule to reorient it. That gets it in a position with a heat shield down to re-enter the Earth's atmosphere, and then later to deploy the drogue parachutes.
Now those drogue chutes, we expect to get confirmation that those have deployed at T plus 4 minutes and 48 seconds. So we've got just a little bit of breathing room before we hear that happen. Those parachutes are protected during ascent, on orbit, and re-entry by a panel that's up near the nose cone of the capsule. So we're going to jettison the panel, then the mortars will fire to deploy those 2 drogue chutes. Again, that's coming up in just over a minute at T plus 4 minutes and 48 seconds. Now those drogue chutes, when we see those come out, those will open, those will come out before the main parachutes. Those drogue parachutes are what we use to begin to decelerate the Dragon capsule in preparation for splashdown.
We understand we're getting into the drogue deploy envelope on the Dragon capsule.
We expect that will happen when Dragon is at about 20,000 feet. About 15 seconds to drogue chute deploy. And there they are. Drogue chutes are out. Again, some major cheering going on here as every stage of this test unfolds. Now we're going to be getting ready for the main chutes to deploy.
Now main chutes will be coming up fairly quickly. There are 4 main parachutes. These are the newest Mark III parachutes. They're each 116 feet in diameter. We deploy them about 2 kilometers above sea level, 6,500 feet above the Atlantic Ocean. We're getting good views from the Dragon and the airplane, showing the 2 drogue chutes. Now we're just waiting for the main parachutes to be deployed very shortly. And we have the view from a different camera on Dragon showing the 4 main parachutes. Now they are deployed in a reefed condition. That means we're keeping them fairly shut to avoid shocks, and now we're slowly opening up the 4 parachutes. Great views coming off of the Dragon camera on the left, and we can also see the 4 parachutes from the airplane on the right.
That is a really cool view.
Nice view of the orange and white parachutes as they're opening up into the 2nd position. And then going to fully open. From fully open, we'll be descending about 20 to 25 feet per second down to the Atlantic. So from that 6,500 foot altitude, it's going to take us a few minutes to splash down. Also right now that the mains are out, a sequence is performed on the Dragon, which will reorient the crew seats into a splashdown position, give them a little better angle to take the slow bounce as we hit the ocean. Now, Maria, I talked about the parachutes came out initially at a reef condition. That's fairly standard. They come out not fully open. That way they're minimizing the shock on the parachutes. We're also minimizing the shock on the capsule. Again, we want to give a smooth ride to the crew as they are coming back through the Earth's atmosphere.
Right.
Now, the parachutes are located behind a door that's at the bottom of the capsule. It's below the crew hatch. So Dragon commands the door to release, and as you saw in the video, the drogue parachutes pull the door away, and that pulls the 4 main parachutes out. Now, these are the new Mark III parachutes. We've completed here at SpaceX over 80 tests of that parachute system, including 10 multi-parachute tests of this particular upgraded parachute design over the last few months to demonstrate that the design is ready for flight.
And we're just inside 2 minutes of when we expect to see splashdown. The recovery teams are already out there in the Atlantic Ocean standing by, ready with fast boats to begin their initial approach to Dragon. Again, we mentioned this before, but the recovery operation we expect to take a couple of hours.
I've heard a call out, we're below 500 meters.
And we expect when Dragon splashes down, it's going to be roughly 32 kilometers offshore. Again, we're looking at a live view. So far, all things have appeared to go nominal for this test. All things looking great so far. We saw the 4 main parachutes deploy. You're looking at them now, fully open. And we are coming up on about a minute until splashdown.
I think we may have heard a call out of 100 meters to go.
Yeah, I just heard that too.
Yep.
Now those 4 parachutes are actually going to be released from the capsule after splashdown, and they'll be recovered too.
And we are down.
Down a little bit early, in fact. And there you can see the recovery boat beginning to approach instantly. I'm going to try to talk a little bit louder so you can hear me over the folks here. This has been a really exciting thing to see because we had the weather. We weren't really sure if the weather was going to cooperate. We were trying to weigh, is it favorable for launch, but also is it favorable for recovery, because they really have to watch the height of those waves in order to do this operation. That fast boat is just off screen now.
All right. That was all I needed to hear. That was a pretty cool explosion. Should we look at it again? Where was it here? It was right about here. Or no, right about here. It's a big fireball. That's 230 feet tall right there. The rocket is. 23 stories. It's like a small skyscraper. Good thing they got through the clouds. I just want to see this explosion again. I think it's like 15 seconds away. So they're going... Yeah, that's at 15 kilometers, so they're probably like 20 kilometers when they do the separation. Now watch the booster on the left. Kablooey. Boom! That's a big explosion. And look at the little debris that's left. There's like 2 little chunks. 3, I guess. Yeah, that's crazy. Reminds me of when all those people died on shuttle. Awesome. Well, I was concerned for nothing, so that's good. But let me read. Let me go do... I'm doing a screen share. Yeah, okay. Let's look at ENAC 67 really quick. This is what makes me concerned about those things. Spare room music, you need to look into that a little bit. SpaceX is very funded by the government. Just type into your Google what is it? Commercial resupply services. Yes, it's a contract as a private company, but NASA invests in SpaceX through the COTS program, COTS. It's what is it? Commercial Orbital. I don't know what it is. It's a development program. So they paid for a lot of the development of these vehicles. So yes, NASA is invested, and they are government. They take tax dollars. So Elon Musk and SpaceX get lots of tax dollars. So either way. Yeah, they work together a lot as they are underfunded. Underfunded. Deborium, I got a question for you. Since they're underfunded, in your opinion, what benefit do you yourself or your family or anyone you know, what tangible benefit do you get from anything that NASA does or SpaceX or any of these rocket people? Just curious. I agree with Anthony Dickinson. 60 million a day isn't underfunded. Let's see here. Oh, sorry. I'm reading the chat while I'm okay, here we go. So this is to Noah, but he goes into the future too, to the end of days. So I think I should just read this whole chapter. Good to see all you guys hanging out in the chat. Armored Up, Interviews 897, Buy My Records, Jason Youngblood. I'm scrolling up a little bit because there's a bunch of people that I saw. Deborium, Spare Room Music, Michael Spencer, Elizabeth Collier, good to see you. Thomas Morgan, Anthony Dickinson, Cindy Heeman, if I'm saying that right. Roderick, Alwyn Bryan, good to see you. Wally S, good to see you. Morvis, Bob 733333. I'm just scrolling up through. I just want to say hi to everyone. I think I got everyone on there so far that I see anyway. But yeah, that was a crazy explosion. Okay, this is Enoch chapter 67, I believe. Let me double check. Yeah, it is. And in those days the word of God came unto me. Okay, this is God's promises to Noah, places of punishment of the angels and of the kings. And in those days the word of God came unto me, and he said unto me, Noah, thy lot has come up before me, a lot without blame, a lot of love and uprightness. And now the angels are making a wooden building, and when they have completed that task, I will place my hand upon it and preserve it. And there shall come forth from it the seed of life, and a change shall set in, so that the earth will not remain without inhabitant. And I will make fast thy seed before me for ever and ever, and I will spread abroad those who dwell with thee. It shall not be unfruitful on the face of the earth, but it shall be blessed and multiply on the earth in the name of the Lord. So he was telling Noah that he would have the angels, or the story is Noah built the ark or whatever, but I think Noah had help from the angels. That's what it's saying here. And the inhabitants of the earth will go from Noah, because he's going to keep Noah alive, but he's going to destroy all the other wicked people in the world. Okay, verse 4. And he will imprison those angels who have shown unrighteousness. Check Genesis chapter 6 to learn about those angels who have shown unrighteousness in that burning valley which my grandfather Enoch had formerly shown me in the west among the mountains of gold and silver and iron and soft metal and tin. And I saw that valley in which there was a great convulsion, and a convulsion of the waters. And when all this took place, from that fiery molten metal, and from the convulsion thereof in that place, there was produced a smell of sulfur. Ask the astronauts what space smells like. Like when the spacesuit, when they, what is it called? When they balance the air, I can't even think right now. They say it smells like brimstone or burnt steak, or they say a lot of different things, but interesting. There was produced a smell of sulfur, and it was connected with those waters. And that valley of the angels who had led astray mankind burned beneath that land, and through its valleys proceed streams of fire, where these angels are punished who had led astray those who dwell upon the earth. Excuse me. Okay, verse 8. But those waters shall in those days serve for the kings and the mighty and the exalted, and those who dwell on the earth, for the healing of the body, but for the punishment of the spirit. Now their spirit is full of lust, that they may be punished in their body. For they have denied the Lord of spirits, and see their punishment daily, and yet believe not on his name, in his name. And in proportion as the burning of their bodies becomes severe, a corresponding change shall take place in their spirit forever and ever. For before the Lord of spirits none shall utter an idle word. For the judgment shall come upon them, because they believe in the lust of their body and deny the Spirit of the Lord. And those same waters will undergo a change in those days. For when those angels are punished in these water springs shall change their temperature. And when the angels ascend, which we just watched, guys, when the angels ascend, this water of the springs shall change and become cold. And I heard Michael answering and saying, this judgment wherewith the angels are judged is a testimony for the kings and the mighty who possess the earth, because these waters of judgment minister to the healing of the body of the kings and the lust of their body. Therefore they will not see and will not believe that those waters will change and become a fire which burns forever. And I can't remember the other chapter. Let me just try. Well, let's look at Enoch chapter 80. Spare room music and Deborim. Check this out. I want you guys to listen to this verse. Where are we? Okay. Let's see. I'll start in verse 6. And many chiefs of the stars shall transgress the order prescribed, and these shall alter their orbits and tasks, and not appear at the seasons prescribed to them. And the whole order of the stars shall be concealed from the sinners, and the thoughts of those on the earth shall err concerning them, concerning the order of the stars. And that's what us flat earthers have been telling you guys for like 3 years, 4 years now. You're confused about what the stars are. Very confused. Okay. And they shall be altered from all their ways. Yea, they shall err and take them to be gods. What do you guys think the stars are? You think they're, 7 of them you think are false gods. I mean, that's what we were all raised believing. Jupiter, Saturn, Mars, Venus, Mercury. These are all false gods. And then I'll read the last verse. And evil shall be multiplied upon them, and punishment shall come upon them, so as to destroy all. And I'm just telling you guys, my belief is that if you consider that you could have been deceived along with the rest of the world, and if you, with an open heart to the truth. If you look at the things that we're trying to point out, you will start to realize, and it's not of you or of us, it's of the Holy Spirit. You will start to realize that the stars are something much different than we were all taught. So there's my thing. Actually, there's another verse I got to look up in Enoch. I'm just bringing up a bunch of Enoch ones because they're coming into my mind. So I want to just read some quick passages. Enoch chapter 41. A similar thing. Something that the flat earthers have actually been talking about, that and like I'm saying, it's not the flat earthers that come up with this information. It's coming down from heaven. It's not of us, this information. That's why the whole world sees this change happening to a good amount of people. It's because they I guess they don't have to be right about everything, because the fact is, in my opinion, that they were wrong. We were all wrong about all these things. Okay, so let's see. Enoch 41, verse 8. For the sun changes oft for a blessing or a curse, and the course of the path of the moon is light to the righteous and darkness to the sinners in the name of the Lord, who made a separation between the light and the darkness and divided the spirits of men. So the moon is a light. No one was saying anything really much about the moon being a light till flat earthers started talking about it. And when I look up, it's obviously a light. But that's just me. So there's just some verses that are very important. Now, concerning, we got to go to another chapter. Concerning what is space. Like, we all have been raised as it being I'm just checking the chat. Sorry, I get distracted. Okay, Deborah, I think, I'm not trying to say you're wrong. What I'm trying to do is get you to open your thinking a little bit to other true possibilities. So, like, say they're even wrong, but you have to consider them. Did you watch the embarrassing debate that Nathan Thompson did with Team Skeptic? Wow. It was awful. Like, I hope you don't like that Team Skeptic guy. Wow. He's kind of like not too bright. And I'm not ripping on him. I'm saying he's not too bright. He's Nathan is showing him images where things are supposed to be over a mile behind or below the tangible curvature of the earth or whatever. And he's like, you can't prove that. And like, well, if you have a certain size sphere, there are definite measurements that we can get off of any size sphere using formulas, or like he was saying, AutoCAD even, or Pythagorean theorem. That's just, there's ways we can do it, and it was awful. I'm actually going to make a video. I do have a question. Why is Team Skeptic's name Skeptic? Actually, that debate answered why. No, he was just like, he couldn't stop telling Nathan that Nathan is stupid or dumb or inbred hick or what, all these things he was calling him, and Nathan's just spouting out facts and observations. And like Nathan, I was watching a live video that Nathan was in a helicopter looking at Chicago from the other side of the lake, making observations. They got a helicopter. They were riding around in a helicopter. They were doing a bunch of stuff. And Team Skeptic's like, no, you go onto the internet and get somebody's video. And Nathan's like, no, I was there. It's my video. Like, I did this. And he just wouldn't accept anything. So, but that's like, yeah, that's refraction's rate for the shot. Okay, but how about this? Refraction doesn't prove curvature. Refraction just says, oh, the light bends. But I'll tell you what, if you're going to, what I'm saying is you're just you're having your beliefs based on an assumption, whereas we have visible, we see things farther than your assumption can possibly give. Like, it can't give that far, like a mile and 2 miles, and this is just ridiculous, because the observations that we can make with the optics that we have in 2020, we got 2020 vision. All right, guys, how long have I been going? I've been going like at least 2 hours, I bet. 3 hours. It says started streaming 2 hours ago. It has to be longer than that. Maybe not. Feels like a whole day. So, how about 8 inches per squared mile? Per mile squared, yeah. Interesting for anybody else who likes doing math. 0.666 times distance in miles squared will get you the feet of drop on a 25,000 mile circumference sphere. And that 666 number, that's got to be quite the coincidence, huh? Deborium says, I have spent hours looking into your observation, and every single one is explainable when you account elevation and refraction. Sure, yeah. You know, light can bend around an S shape. Did you know that? It can bend, the refraction, it can bend around an S shape. So the world is S-shaped. And none of the observations you make prove that it's not S-shaped. Do you get what I'm saying? I'm just saying that's a parabola. Yeah, but how far? A parabola up to, like, if we're talking about a 25,000 mile an hour or mile in circumference sphere, you can't see much more than 100 miles, 150 miles ever, because the air won't allow you to. So whether it's a parabola or not doesn't matter, because we're only doing short distances, and that formula will work for that. Pythagorean theorem is, it's just like 2D geometry. You can do it as, just use a circle with that circumference, get your speed square out or whatever and do the measurement. I mean, you can do it with a calculator. You can do it. Yeah. What I'm saying is that water doesn't curve, and nobody's ever seen it curve. There's a lot of things that, if a person isn't understanding that things shrink and get very small as they go away, as they get distance farther away, it's like the sun going down and setting is an atmospheric illusion. It only looks that way from where you're standing. The sun is not going down. It's still way up in the sky above. You know, if you went 500 miles over, you'd see it again, and it would be up higher in the sky, and you'd get to watch it set again, okay? Did you figure out how to do Hangouts? Oh, no, I didn't. I'm actually working on that, though. Or I keep saying I'm working on that, but I'm going to get down to the bottom of it. I'd love to have you on again, Deborium. We could chat. It's fun to chat with you. That'd be fun. Thanks for reminding me. I will work on that. Maybe even today I'll try to get that working. That sounds like a good idea. Yeah, because we haven't done that for a long time. It's been probably been 6 months since I'd done a hangout with anyone, I think. If I remember right. It's been a while. So anyway, yeah, I'm just sharing my Google screen, huh? Well, let's watch. Whoops, that's not what I was trying to do. Let's listen to that, this again. Psalm 18, verse 9. He bowed the heavens also and came down, and darkness was under his feet. Isaiah 50, verse 3. I clothe the heavens with blackness, and I make sackcloth their covering. Proverbs 30, verse 4. Who hath ascended up into heaven, or descended? Who hath gathered the wind in his fists? Who hath bound the waters in a garment? Who hath established all the ends of the earth? What is his name, and what is his son's name, if thou canst tell? Deuteronomy 4, verse 11. And ye came near and stood under the mountain, and the mountain burned with fire unto the midst of heaven, with darkness, clouds, and thick darkness. Revelation 21, verse 2. And I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from God out of heaven, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. John 1, verse 32. And John bare record, saying, I saw the Spirit descending from heaven like a dove, and it abode upon him. Deuteronomy 4, verse 39. Know therefore this day, and consider it in thine heart, that the Lord, he is God in heaven above, and upon the earth beneath there is none else. Job 22, verse 12. Is not God in the height of heaven? And behold the height of the stars, how high they are. John 3, verse 13. And no man hath ascended up to heaven, but he that came down from heaven, even the Son of Man which is in heaven. Psalm 102, verse 19. For he hath looked down from the height of his sanctuary. From heaven did the Lord behold the earth. Psalm 115, verse 3. But our God is in the heavens. He hath done whatsoever he hath pleased. Matthew 26, verse 64. Jesus saith unto him, Thou hast said, Nevertheless I say unto you, hereafter shall ye see the Son of Man sitting on the right hand of power, and coming in the clouds of heaven. Job 37, verse 18. Hast thou with him spread out the sky, which is strong, and as a molten looking glass? Isaiah 66, verse 1. Thus saith the Lord, The heaven is my throne, and the earth is my footstool. Where is the house that ye build unto me? Where is the place of my rest? Psalm 11, verse 4. The Lord is in his holy temple. The Lord's throne is in heaven. His eyes behold, his eyelids try the children of men. Psalm 14, verse 2. The Lord looked down from heaven upon the children of men to see if there were any that did understand and seek God. Psalm 33, verse 13. The Lord looketh from heaven, he beholdeth all the sons of men.